Hi everyone and welcome to Stamp with Angela. I'm Angela Palmer and I'm excited to be sharing with you today. Welcome to my weekly Facebook Live on a Thursday at 1:30 p.m. New Zealand time. Appreciate you being here. So let me know that you're here. Can you hear me okay? Just checking the chat and stuff. I was just doing a recording the other day for my team and I couldn't get the video thing to work. So I'm hoping with the sound, hoping that this live is working okay. Hi Sheila, nice to see you. All right, so I'm excited to be with you today just to share some stamping and paper crafting tips and things using Stampin' Up products. So last week I shared with you the Frosted Forest bundle, in particular the masks and a little bit of the stamps as well. So I showed you one of the trees in that, and there's actually two different sets of masks. So today I'm going to show you the other. So it's kind of like part two. Excellent. Right. Great. Glad that you guys can hear me all okay. So I want to just show you some of the possibilities of what you can do with this. There are stamps and dies as well. You can use the masks on their own and add to it as well. So I will share that and we'll show you that shortly. So in case you're on here and you haven't met me before, I'm a demonstrator based on the North Shore in Auckland, New Zealand, and been a demo for over 12 years. So that's quite a while now. I just started when my youngest Amanda was 1. And just, as a break, doing something I enjoyed, my hobby, because being a stay-at-home mum was pretty full-on, and just did a class to help sort of earn a bit of money to pay for my supplies. So you can be a demonstrator and make it work for you, whether you want to do it by yourself or involve others. Anyway, let's get started, and I'll show you the bundle, but then I'll show you what we're going to use today and give you some tips. Now, there's lots of possibilities with this, and you might do it differently, and there's no right or wrong, but just hopefully this will give you an idea of some ways that you can use this set. All right, so let me switch over to my table. Okay, so here we go. I know the masks are probably a little bit hard to see because they're kind of white, everything's white. So you've actually got two sets of masks. So there's this set here, which is the tree. And if you remember last week, I showed that. So here's a card that we did last week using that tree. So you've got the trunk and then the branches, or the leaves rather. But I did stamp the outline of that one. But you could obviously do it without the outline too. And then, so this is this particular tree here. Then we've also got these ones, which I'm calling the Evergreen trees. And so there are 3 masks for that. Now, I've just used it and I didn't want to clean them and then, because I'm using the same colors and have to dry them and stuff. So they've still got the ink on them, so you can kind of see how they work. So that first set went this way and they were portrait and they were numbered 1, 2, 3. These are numbered A, B, and C, and they're going landscape. Does that make sense? Now, I had a play and I haven't exhausted all options. There's, different possibilities on how you could do this. So I will show you kind of what I've done. One's not even quite finished, but just to give you some possibilities. But I'll just show you. So that's the stamp set. So it is a photopolymer stamp set. So you can see through it to see where to place it. I've got some other stamps out ready to go. And then this is the die set. Now, I photocopy mine. I haven't actually got round to putting a magnetic sheet. Usually I pull them all off, put a magnetic sheet down, stick this on top, and then put the dies on the top. So you'll see, you can cut out the outline of the tree, the outline, or just die cuts and things. And this is quite nice for a background as well. Okay, so I'm not even using the dies today. Okay, but maybe there'll be a part 3 and we can use dies. I'm not sure. I'll think about that. All right, so let me show you what I've done and the possibilities. So this is card number 1. What have I done? So this is just, for the trees anyway, I have just used the masks, no stamp. I did add the bird later because I felt like it was a little bit bare up there, but you could, find something else. So with the trees, I've just used the masks, okay? So that's just using the masks. Then for this next one, I have done the same thing, but I did stamp over it. So you can see a little bit more detail. But you can, you know, get away with just masking, or you can stamp it as well. And then I've just used a sentiment at the bottom as well. Then I saw someone else have a play and they added a trunk, and I thought, oh, but this isn't mounted on a card yet. So you could also add the trunk. You don't really need to on this one because it's quite a busy one anyway. But all I did was use a pecan pie or just a brown of some kind stamping blend, and then sort of coloured the trunk in the middle there. So that's something else you could do. And this isn't stamped, this is just masks, and then adding the blend for the trunk, and then obviously mount it up and things. So you can see even just with those three, there's possibilities. Now, I don't know if you noticed some other differences between these two cards. I was trying to decide what to do for my base. So this one here has got garden green matting on an old olive base, and then this one is an old olive matting on a garden green base. So I don't know if you have a preference. What do you like? So maybe you can help me decide for my card. I'm thinking towards this one with the darker color around and then on the old olive, but let me know if you've got a preference. And then I can see, you know, I've got both, so you can kind of decide which way you like. So do you want garden green matte on an old olive base, or old olive matte on a garden green base, if you can remember all that? Now, the colours for colouring the tree, I haven't actually used garden green. I did the first one with 3 different colours and it didn't really work. So I've actually gone to use old olive and mossy meadow. But when I stamped, which is on this one, then I added the stamping was with the garden green, but not with the masking. Actually, I wonder if I've still got it. It just didn't work. No, I think I chucked it away. So sometimes you try things and it doesn't work. That's okay. We learn from these things. Okay. Now, I would recommend having a piece of grid paper and things. For the one we did last week, we didn't necessarily have to kind of mark where the masks go, but I think for this one, it's quite important that you do. I might actually do it this way because it is a landscape thing. So we're going to put this here. All right, so we're going to start with mask number 1. Just keeping an eye on comments and things here. Garden green base. So the other way to what I thought. That's fine. If no one else, we'll have a see what people like overall. Okay, so what I did was decided where I want to put my first one. So if you look back at my card, now these are placed further apart, so when you're sponging, you're not accidentally going over, but I will move it. I've moved it closer on the card, if that makes sense. So I want a bit of space at the bottom, but fairly close to the left-hand side. So what I'm going to do, you could tape it down, but for the sake of time, I tend to just hold it. So we've got our cardstock in place. That one's got a little bit in the corner, which is going to look messy on our card. So let me try another piece. Where's my sticky there? So we'll try, maybe we'll go over this way a bit. Try another piece because we don't want it. We pull this hard work in and it doesn't look so good. So let's try about there. So in the corner is a notch. So I am marking the notch. I'm actually going to mark a couple of other places because, you know, it could be in the notch but slightly wonky. So just to give me an idea where that is going to go. All right, let's get it straight on here. With the mask, we've got a little bit of reflection with my lights, I think, but so it can't be helped too much. Okay, so the first color I'm going to start with is Old Olive. And using my blending brushes, so that is my lighter green one. Okay, okay, so this is mask A. And hold it tightly, and I want it not too light, but definitely not too dark because I want the mossy meadow to come over as a comparison. So, like so. You can have a little look. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now, I don't want my tree over there, so I'm going to lift that up and put it sort of next to you. You could do higher, lower, up to you. I'm going to put it about there, maybe overlap slightly. And I'm also going to mark where this is going, whoops, so it's a bit lower, you can see, compared to the other one. And we will do this tree, whoops, keep it steady, hold it tightly, and mask that like so. Lovely. So that is A. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with B, and I'm going to use Mossy Meadow. So you could come up with different combination of colors. Last week I used brighter colors like lemon lime twist and granny apple green. Now I'm going for some slightly more darker colors. You could go, yeah, there's all sorts of possibilities. Now with this one, if you line it up using your marks and things, you'll see lots of white, and that's what you want. So it's actually putting, you can't really line it up just by looking. That's why you really need to mark these bits, because the Mossy Meadow is going, oh, look, sorry, my microphone just fell off. Sorry about that. You're wanting this lower than what is already there. So you can see, I don't know how well you can see, but you can actually see lots of white. That is correct. That's what we are wanting. Okay, so this darker color, not going over the top, but below what's there. So this is Mossy Meadow. Does that make sense? So then you've kind of got that contrast. Obviously, you don't want to swipe over there too much, or we'll go to our other tree. Let's have a look. Nice. Now we need to line up our other notches and things. So it is important that you have some kind of grid paper or something down so that you can line it up, because to eyeball it would be quite hard. I'm just going to blob so I don't, and then again, it's not in the same places as where our old olive was. It's in the white spaces, and it's been designed like that. I don't know how they line them up perfectly. There you go. All right, so you could leave it like that, or you can add this layer too. This is quite good if you actually wanted to add a bit of snow and stuff, like sitting on the leaves. So with my ones, I did add this for a bit of contrast of color, but you could leave it like that too. What do you reckon? Oh, Sheila likes the darker colors. Excellent. Okay, so we've got one who wants garden green base and one who wants old olive base. So we've got half and half. Is there a third who would like to have their say? Dear, maybe I could do one of each with the other one I did before. So yeah, you could, if you want to put sort of snow on or something, this would definitely kind of add to it. I will put this on just so you can see kind of how it works. I tried a different color and it didn't work. For me anyway, or maybe it was too much, I don't know. So I'm going to go with a bit of Mossy Meadow, but not too much. So it just adds another contrasting color in some different places. So let's just add it and see. But again, if you got this or getting it, have a play and see what you think. So that just adds a bit more patches of color. And then we'll do the same for this one, line it all up. So you'll see a little bit more white this time. We'll go in with a bit of Mossy Meadow. Maybe we'll have a look, maybe not quite so dark. There we go. Okay, before we stuff it up. Excellent. Now, on the white, it looks quite sort of stark. So like my cards last week, I have added the sky and the grass, which I think looks really good. And then we need to, maybe I will show you how I did the trunk so that you can see, you know, that option as well. But let's do the sky and stuff first, and we can kind of see how it's looking and then decide what we're going to do. There's, you know, quite a few possibilities with this. So I'm using Balmy Blue, and going to start off and just as much or little blue as you afterwards, and I was able to stamp it and color it afterwards as well, so that wasn't a problem. Now we kind of want a bit of white in there so it looks like a sky and things, but that is nice. Then I'm going to come in with Garden Green. I've got my little blending brush for that one to put a bit of grass and stuff down the bottom. And it's a contrasting green. You might have a stamp that's suitable for stamping some grass, but if you don't, can do something like this. Now, because I hadn't put trunks on some of these, I sort of put my sentiment across there. Now, with this one here, I haven't stamped over it. I think that looks quite nice as it is, but I will show you. Hopefully I won't mess it up. So this is non-stamped. This is stamped. It just gives a little bit more detail. So I will show you that, and I'm going to use garden green for that too. Let's hope on camera, with the camera above. Oops, there's something on there. Don't want that. Going to have a line on our tree. So can you see now that it's inked up? It's just a very fine kind of pattern on it. And I probably should have a mat underneath so it's a bit more spongy. Let me quickly grab one. When I'm stamping with photopolymer, I do like to do that because there's no sponginess on this, so it just stamps better. These jolly dimensionals. Okay, you should have seen my floor yesterday after my kids' class. There were just those dimensional bits everywhere. So press that down. There we go. So that just adds another element to it. You don't have to, but you know, that is an option if you know what I mean. Okay, so can you sort of see that? I'm not going to, there is a little stamp for that one. Oh, let's just stamp that too, just to show you what it's like. I can't remember if I did that on my sample one. Yeah, just then they match, I guess. So you could just do the mask or you could add that if you want. All right, bird. I tried it in browns like crumb cake and pecan pie, but it didn't quite work. It sort of got a bit lost. So in the end, I settled for stamping it in black, Memento Black. And then I just coloured it with a blend. Now, it is a little stamp. So what have I done with it? It's right here. Okay. So sort of like so. Isn't that lovely? All right, now I got my crumb cake. Just trying to decide if I go for the lighter or the darker. Let's go for the lighter. Is that light? Oh, it's ivory. That's not crumb cake. That's why it probably didn't work. Oh well. Is this crumb cake but dark? It is. We'll go with the ivory. Sorry, with the crumb cake dark. So we'll colour in my bird. Not really going to do shading or something, but just make it look a little bit brown. There we go. So that just sort of adds in the sky, which is quite nice. And shall we do the tree trunk on this one so you can see what I did? So just use the thin tip. And just kind of where there's a bit of a gap. You're not going to see it all the way through, obviously, because there's lots of trees around, or leaves around. But sort of kind of in the centre where there's a bit of a gap, you can do a trunk. Hopefully it's sort of straight. And that's not bad. What do you reckon? Do you like it with that? So that's an extra you can do if you want to. I quite like that. So there's so many different ways to vary it. Okay, so for my sentiment, I just got a little piece of old olive and I stamped it in garden green. So I've got thank you, which is from the Simply Said stamp set. Thinking of you is from this. Now there's a couple of ways you can do it. If you are very careful, because it's actually thank you, and then it says something else. It's not actually very straight. So let's just put it on the block straight. If you're very careful, you can just get ink on the thinking of you. Can you see what I'm doing like that? Because it's photopolymer, you can actually see. So you could chance it like that and have a go and stamp it. And if it doesn't work, I'll show you plan B. Oh, we did very well. Otherwise, you get a piece of tape, cover this up, ink it up, then remove the tape and stamp it. But we've actually done, I'm impressed, quite well. All right, now, what are we going to do for our base? Because we've got half and half. Any other comments? I like the trunk. Yes, the trunk is good. It does look like a tree a bit more then, doesn't it? So we're going to put that like that. I might just make my trunk come a little bit more down. Bit further down. There we go. All right. Miriam, do you have a thought on card base? We're 50-50 at the moment. So this is the piece on Old Olive with a garden green base. And this is garden green with an Old Olive base. At the moment, we're 50-50 on which way we should go. So I'm trying to decide. So while we decide, I'll get a piece of linen thread and tie our bow. So we can go for the single bow or we can go for the double bow. I might actually go for a single bow this time so it's not too busy. And we'll put that on once we've put our card together. All right, what we might do if we can't decide, since I've got both cut ready to go, is we could always put this one together as well and we'll do one of each. How's that? So we've got Old Olive with garden green base and Old Olive, no, sorry, garden green with an Old Olive base and Old Olive with a garden green base. So let's put that on there. And where's the one we've just done? This one can go on there. How's that? We've got one of each. All right, let's have a look at putting these together. We can probably get rid of that piece now. Glue. Okay. Also, you'll notice that the stamping blend does come through. It always does on like white cardstock, so you need to stick it down on something. But that's fine. We've got our layers, so we're all good. And this one hasn't got a bird on it yet. Maybe we should stamp a bird on this too. Otherwise, it looks a bit sad in that corner. I'll do an, what's that, crumb cake? Yep. Colour that in. All right, so has anyone got these? Have you tried them? What do you think? Old Olive with garden green base. So Old Olive with garden green base. Aha, this one here. So that's cool. Oh, that must have been my... Oh, that was my attempt when I got the wrong mask first. I didn't look at the letters. So I turned it over and started again. Okay, so the... What did she say? The more filled in the trees, yeah. So that's probably the one with the stamp, that one there. It's a little bit more filled in. But I mean, if you hadn't seen that and you just did this with the masking, it looks good too. Another thing you could do is maybe put some twine around the card base before sticking it on rather than a bow. We could have done that too. All right, now I had my little sentiment thinking of you. And I did bury it. So which one did we do today? We did this one. So let's finish off this. So I've got a bit of space there so I can put my bow on it. Now I need to find my dimensionals. Are they going to be too big? I think we'll be okay if we line it up properly. Okay, there we go. And then we'll add our bow. There's only 3, so I use my fingernails today, not my take your pick tool. So kind of about there, I think. And find our bow. I did it. Where is it? Is this it? Yes, it is. And we'll get a glue dot to glue it down. Now, there's all sorts of possibilities. You can kind of use different colors. You can kind of add, make it look like it's got snow on it. You can make it more Christmas themed. Totally up to you. All right, we probably need to finish this one off. So let's see if I can find another piece of Old Olive for another sentiment. Here we go. I'll do a thank you. Oh, look, I've got one here. Thank you. Here's one I prepared earlier. Not quite so much room for a... I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do something different this time. We'll have it a little bit higher. And with our twine, we'll kind of Is that what I want to do? Yeah, we'll go backwards and forwards. I'll show you a variation. I'm going to put a bit of tape on the back when I find my tear and tape, if I can find the end. So rather than do a bow, I'll put it behind it. Does that make sense? You'll see what I mean. This is a spare of the moment, what's the word, So then you kind of put that behind, except I want it to go the other way, angled. I want it to, it's sticking to me, angled that way, I think. Like that. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of behind. I guess ideally you'd probably want it a bit higher because it's near the bottom of the card, but that's okay, we'll make it work. We'll put a dimensional either side. So that's just another way you could do some twine as well. We'll kind of have it like that, and we'll just, there we go. So a few variations there. Let's move our adhesives out the way. Okay. And our blending brushes and ink pads and dimensionals and all sorts of things. So this is what we did today. What did we do? So we masked in Old Olive, then Mossy Meadow, and then Mossy Meadow with the C one as well. And we drew with our blend the trunk. This one here is just the two, and we stamped on top of this one. This one we haven't stamped, but we did do the tree trunk. This was one I had earlier where it is like this, and it's not stamped, but and the tree trunk isn't coloured in. And then lastly, so I've got 4 variations here. We have got this one here, which is stamped, but it is what? It is, so it's stamped but got no tree trunk drawn in. Does that make sense? So there's all sorts of different variations, and that's just using the stamps and masks. I haven't even touched the dies. So there's so many more possibilities with that as well. So that is pretty cool. All right. So a couple of things to share. So any questions about those, the masks? Oh yeah, so when you've finished, you could just wipe them off with a wipe or something. For me, I actually go to the bathroom or go to the sink and just run the tap over, it runs off, and then I leave them to stand up and dry. You can pat them dry if you need to dry them. And then remember, this is the wonderful dies that puts when they come out. They're the dies that you can get that go with them as well. Cool. All right. So just to let you know of a couple of things, there is lots happening this month, and I don't have all my little things to show you. I'm not quite sure where they are. I forgot to grab them before we started. I'll just see if they're behind me here. But there is a few promotions happening. No, it doesn't look like they're here. Okay. So for me personally, I am offering an online class using the Reindeer Memories workshop kit. Okay. Oops, I'm getting tangled up with my own, what do you call it? Microphone. Okay, so if you purchase this kit, it shows you how to make a couple of scrapbooking pages, but I'm going to show you how to make 2 cards, a display piece, which is called a sampler, and a different scrapbooking page, and the sampler will be something like this. Now, if you signed up during the mystery stamping, you got the class for free if you ordered it through me. You can still order it through me, and if you order it through me, you can do the class for half price. So instead of $25, it will be $12.50. So order it, get in touch with me, and then I'll send you the details for participating in the class. So that's just a fun way of using it. It's got cardstock, it's got stickers, it's got die cuts, it's got lots of things. So we're going to make so you need to buy your own frame, but we'll make the piece in it that you can display for Christmas. So that will be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. So if you're interested in that. The other things, let's come back to me and I can chat with you. Let's turn the camera around. Where are we? Is it showing? Excellent. Here we are. I'm back again. So the other thing to let you know is during October, Stamping Up have got a joining offer. So it's great. Any time to join Stamping Up is a good time. When I joined, there was no offer. It's still a great deal to join for $189 and get $285 worth of product. But if you join in October, you still pay $189, but you get over $300. I think it's $342 worth of product. You choose what you want in your starter kit. And you get free shipping, and then you get some business resources like catalogs and stuff as well to help you get started. Obviously, there are minimums that you need to spend each quarter to stay current, but they give you a little bit longer during your first few months to get started. So those getting your minimums is equivalent to New Zealand dollars, about 550 New Zealand. You can do it in one order. You can do a smaller order each month, like do, 200, 150 or something like that. Up to you how you want to do it within that period. But of course, there's a discount taken off that. So you're actually paying slightly less than that anyway. So it'll be less than $500. So that's cool. And you can get orders. It could be your own orders. It could be orders from others. It's up to you how you meet those minimums. And you could be doing it as a hobby. You might want to do it as a business part-time, or just, get your supplies, do a class with a friend once a month, every couple of months, just to get a little extra to help pay for your supplies. So I'm happy to answer any questions, feel free to just, if you're not sure, you want to know more and you decide, yeah, you will, or no, you won't, either way is fine. You don't know until you ask. So it's worth it. And it's not just the discount and that kind of thing. It's the community and the family and the friendships that you build through that. We've got our team. We do a monthly team Zoom that you can participate in, ask questions or share things with you. Not everyone can be live. It's recorded. You can watch it in your own time. Stamping Up offer things. You get to see stuff early. You get Stamping Up events you can go to if you want to. And I was going to say something else. There's just lots of benefits of taking part, and I'll be here to help and support you. So have a think. I'd love you to join our team. I've got people from up north to down south, all over New Zealand, and different walks of life. Some are working full time, some are retired, some are, mums at home, all sorts of different things that you can make it suit you. So feel free to ask. So just a reminder, if you're interested in the reindeer class, purchase that kit and let me know, and you can join the class for half price. And if you're interested in joining, please let me know. I'm sure there's something else, but I can't think of what it is. Our sale is finished. And also if you are joining up, you can order from the pre-order of what's new coming next month. So that's exciting too. Cool. All right. So please reach out to me if you've got any questions. If you're not on my newsletter, please sign up. I've started my 12 weeks of Christmas. 2 emails have gone out with free tutorials for those on my mailing list. You can sign up and get the remaining 10 and other, information about what's happening and exclusive tutorials and lots of things like that too. So I enjoy being able to share things with you. I appreciate your time, and reach out to me if you've got any questions. If you're watching this on Facebook, please subscribe and like it, and you'll be notified of more videos like this. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks. Enjoy your afternoon.